Welcome to the Happiness Aid platform. Today we're joined by someone who's got a real collection of memories and experiences, which I really want to delve into, and that's helped form what she gets up to nowadays. She's also a great friend of our lead ambassador, Michelle Powell. So epic chance to talk to someone epic. Sharon Anyos, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks, Robbie. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Did I get your name right?
Yes, you did. I'm not gonna. I could probably tell you a story about something later on about my name, but I'm really excited to be here. You guys are doing like incredible stuff, and I'm just really excited to be a part of being able to impact some people.
Thanks so much. And yeah, I mean, these Q&As are definitely designated to people we want to delve a little bit more into and get some really awesome knowledge out the back of it. You're a former boxing champion. We'll go into that in a little while. But speaking of the sport boxing, it can be associated with, angry kids or people that are, troubled or that sort of connotation. I've got some great mates that are into their boxing. It's definitely not always the reason. But so what was your reason for getting into the sport of boxing?
You would say I kind of grew up in that family. So by the oh my gosh, I think I was beaten. I've got 3 older brothers.
Sure.
I'm the youngest, and it was kind of I think I was kind of fighting my way at the dinner table just to get what I wanted on my plate.
Quick in the day, right?
My dad had been a karate instructor, and he kind of transitioned from karate to kickboxing to Muay Thai to boxing along with me. He'd been a karate instructor for quite some time and leading lots of people, and I just want to be the apple of his eye. Like every little girl falls in love with their dad first. So I just wanted to just be and do what he did. And, it was just, I think I was just blessed with an opportunity to step into a space where I got to learn how to really protect myself and really understand the power of our mind, the strength of our mind at a really early age. And I'm going to tell you, if my brothers are listening, like I even used to beat them up.
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah. How old were you compared to your brothers, or what's the difference there?
So my mum had 4 kids under 5.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, all really close. Like it's 1 year, and then I think there's 2 years above. So it's Richard, Brian, Daniel, and then myself. And then I kind of beat that with four boys under 4. So,
yeah, we'll get into your efforts as well. I mean, it's an epic job being a parent, but your mum must have been a saint.
Oh, she was amazing. She still is. To this very day, she's still just a gift to our family.
Well, look, I mean, when you're growing up in a house like that obviously leads you into the world of amateur boxing in the lounge room and at the dinner table. What got you into the professional arena?
Well, I think I stepped in, I think I was in my first competition at all was like under 8s, where I just wanted to just go in and do a karate fight. And then I got to a point where in my karate career, if I stepped into a women's division and there was 30 other women in it, 20 or 30 women would step out and I'd be the only one. So I then went into the men's division, and then I was beating the men, including my brothers.
Well done.
At the point where I was like, where do I go from here? So it kind of become every fighting art. The only fighting art I haven't really done is MMA because I'd retired by then. But I've kind of transitioned from karate to full contact karate to light contact kickboxing to full contact kickboxing to Muay Thai to boxing. So every time I ran out of people to fight or people stepped away, I was like, what's next? What's next? So I kind of feel like I just transitioned really quickly.
It was a necessity, right, for competition to transition by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I really felt when my dad asked me a question, because we were having a homework argument, if I remember rightly, about why I shouldn't do the homework, and at the age of 13, and he said, well, what are you going to make of your life? And I said, well, I just want to be the best in the world, and I don't think Pythagoras' theorem is going to get me there, but I want to be the best in the world. And he goes, well, what do you think will get you there? And I'm just like, I think it'll be my fists. And he's like, righto, kid. And I just, even to the point in year 10 when I had the principal of our school say, you need to quit this stupid idea of being a world champion and focus on your study, otherwise I'm going to keep you down. I kind of went home, we changed schools the next week. Yep. I just continually trained. It was just like, I think I was blessed in a way because it allowed me to really have stuff to focus on in my mind. And all over my life, those things slipped as well. So
when you became a professional, how long before you were in that upper echelon? Because boxing can be either a really long journey to the top or quite a rapid rise. There's not really much middle ground, is there?
So my boxing career is possibly going to give away some of my age. But I started I think it was about 97, I started boxing. And I won I won 4 world titles, but they were not world titles that were highly recognized. Like there's 40 or 50 different organizations in boxing. So it's like you're not a world champ until you're in the top 3 in the World Boxing Council, the WBC, the big green belt, Muhammad Ali, Costa Zoo, Lennox Lewis, Vitaly Klitschko, all of those like big names, Layla Ali. That was like the be all and end all. So I become the inaugural world champion for them. So the very first ever in history, the female WBC featherweight champion in 2000, and I think it was 2005.
Yeah,
so
wow.
It was a big journey. I was 35.
Yeah. That is so epic. So you were 35. Take us through, I'm sure you've got recollections of the day and the night that you were. Where were you? Who were you fighting against? And what were the feelings as you won? So
I think, you know, when the WBC finally recognised women athletes, it was a really big step for women's boxing, obviously, and I was ranked number 2. So I want to really just share with people that things don't just kind of, the universe opens up doors, or God opens up doors, or whoever it is that you believe in or what you believe in, doors open, but if you don't step through them or if you don't kick your way through them, then they're going to shut really quickly. So what I actually did when I found out that they had started ranking women's boxers, like women fighters, I was ranked number 2. I straight away, the minute I seen it, I rang number 1. Right, didn't really know her that well, but knew of her. Rang number 1, asked her to fight me. She said no. Rang number 3, because I was number 2. She said no. Went all the way down to number 5. When she said no, I decided that it's got to be someone in the top 5 to win a world title. So then I contacted the WBC personally, and I said to them, listen, no one else will fight me. They've all said no. You help me. So they matched me with a woman who was in the weight division under me. Oh my goodness. This woman, like she's Argentinian, Marcela Acuna, and it was here on the Gold Coast on Indy weekend, like Gold Coast, Australia. This woman, seriously, she would hit her opponents and they would fall down and their feet would twitch like that. You just see these feet twitching. Wow. And I just kept saying, well, she hasn't fought me yet. She hasn't fought me yet. Like I got with 3 brothers and I trained I trained alongside some women, but I mostly just trained with men. I trained with people that were fitter, faster, stronger. So I was always like, it's like I was going for the next level, the next level, the next level. So what I did was I ended up just camping out in mum and dad's house. It was empty. They were in the middle of like moving home. So I was like, hang on to that house for a couple of weeks. I camped out and I just watched, so for boxing fans, I was very much a Marvin Hagler fighter who I speak with all these champions, you know, at the WBC conferences and everything. We're all quite, you know, we're a big family. So I'm very much a Marvin Hagler, and so was she. So I had to become the Sugar Ray Leonard fighter. So I had to go from being someone that would just barrage their way through and just keep punching until people couldn't handle anymore, to someone that become a little bit slick on their feet and could move and could kind of duck and weave, and that had never been my forte. I was always the black-eyed girl because I never covered up and I never ducked. So yeah, it was interesting. So you had to change your whole technique, your whole approach of for strategy in the match. And how did it play out? What did that Hagler versus Hagler situation bring about? It was amazing. So seriously, for 2 weeks, I watched nothing on TV apart from her fights and Hagler versus Sugar Ray. That was all I watched for 2 weeks. So when I wasn't training, I was in front of the TV, just study, just getting my mind into that space. And it was the toughest fight I ever had. I will tell you, I was dressed amazingly at the end. By whoever gave me it, whatever brand gave me, I can't remember the brand of the dress, but it was so beautiful. But gosh, my face looked ugly. But I busted my finger. I think it was round 2, and then my cheekbone from a head clash got broken in round 7. Wow. And I just kind of looked up and said, it's between you and I. Like, we've got to get through this. This is not. I never ever stepped in the ring just for me. I stepped in the ring for women all over the world. I stepped in the ring for women to be able to be who they wanted to be, that we didn't have to always fit in a box, and we could be outside of what was normal. And in a male-dominated sport, like Indie Weekend, it was everything that could have gone wrong for the promoters did go wrong. But my gosh, to even the referee came up to me at the beginning and said, no matter what happens, I'm not pulling her up. No matter what she does wrong, I'm not going to pull her up. And I'm like, what? Like, I feel like, what I'm like a lamb now at the slaughter. But seriously,
Yeah.
I trained hard because when I said to him, what do you mean? He said, well, no matter what happens, she will contest the fight and you'll have to send a video to the WBC and they will make the final decision. So it was, just knowing that it was held in Australia, it was an Australian referee. He just wanted to make sure that everybody's backs were covered.
Sure.
And that, if something did happen, that she didn't have a leg to stand on. And I tell you what, as a fighter, the greatest, the hardest part of every fight is actually the weigh-in, right? She weighed in less than me. So for me, it's a mind game, right? Everything's a mind game. And that's why your mind has got to be in a state, or you're going to be able to shift your state quickly. But everything's a mind game. So for me to get on the scales, I always want to be lighter than the opponent. No matter if I've gone from fighting at 78 kilos down to 57 kilos, like if I've had to put weight on or take it off just to get fights. And so she weighed in at, she was weighing in at like 54 kilos. I had never been 54 kilos and I come in under her. And once I'd done that, I was like, you are done. It doesn't matter what happens now. The rest is history, right? That's the hardest part.
That's the first sort of battle in the war, right?
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I looked amazing. Like I had abs upon abs. I had muscle. I was just walking around like, I don't even think I had an ounce of body fat on me. It was just, powerful. So when your message is far greater than you, when your message is to impact more people, and not just women, but for men as well, to really understand that women are capable of so much. Like open your mind and open the doors to what's possible, because oh my gosh, it blows me away what women are capable of.
I was about to allude to that again. I think your point about empowering people through your own journey is epic, because it drags people along with you to feel like they can achieve. Is that with the title aside, or titles aside, and the career being so incredible as it was, I really want to ask, what was your biggest takeaway other than the awards and the recognition from a championship belt point of view? What did you take away from it?
Okay, so probably my biggest takeaways were my saying always was, whatever you believe, you can achieve that you can. Like whatever's going on in here. But what I didn't understand what I was doing a lot of the times was my dad would always say to me every night, like, do not fight the fight. Like, don't fight the fight. We don't pick up the word don't in our subconscious. If you say to your kids, don't hit your brother, guess what? They're hitting their brother. But he would say to me, don't fight the fight before it's here, right? And it wasn't until just, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, but I would go to bed every night and I would see the fight and I'd be getting hit and I'd be like, oh no, I can't get hit. So you go through the whole thing. And before you know it, guess what? Because you felt it, you freaked out, the whole lot inside that moment as you're sleeping, right? You bring that into reality. So my biggest takeaway is whatever goes on in your mind plays out in your life. Now, it doesn't matter, even people talk about, well, I seen 111 today. It's like, that's fantastic. But what was your thought when you seen 111? Because, or 999 or 888 or lucky numbers, like they're going to be, they're a lucky number, but it depends on what vibration you're running on as to what that number's going to mean, whether it's going to like really concrete what the gut wrenching feeling is, or really concrete that elevated feeling. And, just the simplicity of spinning it around as well. So I think for me, the biggest takeaway was, I probably had two, that the people that you can count on is a very small number. And you've just got to honor and respect and appreciate anyone that wants to give you time. Even now, people come up to me and say, oh my gosh, you're normal. I'm like, I love, like, Robbie, I love you. I don't even know you, but I love you. I love everybody. And to have a human connection, like a spiritual or connected moment with someone where you listen and you talk, it's like, it fuels my soul completely. And if I can impact somebody else by giving them time, because we don't ever have time to, most people don't get listened to at all, to just really hear someone, it impacts life completely on so many levels.
I agree. And I think when you are heard, you start to heal, I think is a big part of it. And, obviously Happiness Aid and Happiness Co is a big proponent of the decisions you make. So you decided to become a parent yourself after growing up in a chaotic household by the sounds of things. You now have 4 kids of your own.
Yes, I don't know if I ever really decided or if it just happened.
Let's not go into the technicality behind that. But you were lucky enough to become a mum to those 4 kids. And what have you taken from? And it's a bit of a cliche question, I know, but what have you taken from sport and boxing in particular, and that community, and transferred into being a parent?
Okay, so from sport, and so I would have to say again, whatever you visualize, like if you think your kid's going to get up and be like in a really yucky state, guess what you're going to get? That state. And some of the things I've been able to do with my boxing is when there is stuff, if I feel there's an energy shift, is straight away go and play a game of Tiggy, or go and jump in a pool with them, or do something where it distracts them and completely blocks off whatever was going to happen in their mind. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember when my twins were like babies and stuff would go on, they'd start crying. My mum would run to the window and yell about a purple elephant, or we'd all be running to the window looking for this purple elephant. There is no purple elephant, but it was a distraction, right? Wow. So what we let happen in our mind is when we wake up and that subconscious mind takes off, no matter how old we are, you know. And for kids, it's even harder. There's so much social media, so much that they're already in that space of, I don't know how many times I'm going to say, turn YouTube off. Like, what is that? Yeah. How did that get on there? You know, but just in that space, like that whole just distraction, and that just, our subconscious takes off and thinks about everything that's ever happened in the past, and it just replays it over and over and over. So to refill it with new things, so that whole visualization strategy, I've taught my kids all of that stuff, and I take that myself. The whole thing of don't was never an option in boxing. So don't is not a word I have in my house. No and don't happen. I find a different way to say it. And if it does slip out, I rephrase it straight away. So it's not the last thing they hear.
Yeah,
I think
brilliant.
That's had a pretty big impact. And the other thing is that everybody's important, right? It doesn't matter, you know, in boxing, you may be the one in the ring, but it takes a team to get you there, right? Every single person's important, even the person that's standing there holding your bucket in the corner. So every person in the house is important. Everyone has to have a role and be recognized.
Wonderfully put. And I think another, I guess, ethos of what we're about here, which matches very much with that, is, you know, act like everyone has a sign on their head saying, please notice me.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and give people that opportunity, as you said before, to connect and make sure that there's some love being transferred regardless of outcome. And I think that's something that you could probably take out of sport as well, if you put your reasons over your results.
I actually, I'd love to share. I did see when the twins were playing soccer a couple of years ago, their coach was just incredible. So it didn't matter. Like, he had kids from 2 different age groups, and they were girls, boys, different sizes, shapes, the whole lot. And they were all beginners. But what he did was he found something that each one was really good at, and that's the only thing he focused on. Keep doing that one thing, keep doing it. You are so good to keep doing that one thing. He never said what they were bad at or what they didn't do right. He focused on what each kid did perfectly. And I've been able to also pull that into my household as well. It's like, you know, when things are going crazy and the air's gone nuts and everyone's screaming, it's like, quick, what is it that you've done? And one of the things that we do in our house when you have that meltdown moment, right? And parents go through that, and parents are like in that stage of meltdown. You know, I don't know how many times I've wanted to lock myself in the bathroom and just cry, you know? And I'm just like, right, everybody sit down. Now we're going to go around the circle, and we'll start with the youngest to the oldest, and we'll all say something that we really love. And I found out that it's called Ubuntu, which is what they used to do in Africa. That when somebody done something wrong in a village, they would take them to the center of the town, but for 2 days they would shower them with love. You know, we as humans are so used to being told off and being made to feel wrong and, you know, disgusting and, wow, that's so bad. And like, to shift that energy and to start showing your kids what you love about them, and that the energy that's attached to them is just usually comes from us anyway. If we're stressed and we're under pressure, our energy outweighs the kids. You know what I mean? So for me, that's been amazing. You end up, you know, it takes 20 minutes, but every child is touched. Even if they want to kill the other child, they've all been able to touch each other's hearts. And I'm usually a blubber mess by then anyway.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful thought, that you guys can get together and do something like that. And that's a great takeaway for all the parents out there, or even just people who live in houses with other people.
Yeah.
You know, because the tension can build up, and the transference, which is a you know, a positive or psychology in general concept. You know, you want to make sure that you're not transferring those emotions onto the children in your life. And I'm not a parent, and I can only imagine that it's very difficult not to. But I think about my beautiful mum and my awesome dad as well, and I think of the times when you know, maybe if there were incredible resources out there, parenting may have been a little bit easier in this day than it was. But I just don't think that's the case, because there's more problems, new problems, new nuances that you've got to deal with. So, and I think it's about going back to basics, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's two other things I would really love to share, especially like a lot of people carry something that's been brought over from parenting from their parents, right? And they carry on. And I just, you know, it's the blame game of I'm like this because, and I just stop and think, you know, I work with people. So one woman just, she shares her story. And when I look at some of the things that happened to me as a kid, I think if I didn't go through all that stuff, I would not have the strength, the grunt, the passion and the desire to make a difference, right? And to want to be the best in the world. So you can use whatever happened to you and think that it's a blame thing and that's my fault, it's their fault because, or you can say, thank you so much for giving me every experience I needed to be stronger, right? My parents, like yours, didn't have a handbook. They didn't have anything. They just, they were so young. My mum was like, oh my gosh, she had her first child at, I think, 17 or something. And like, I wouldn't even imagine what that would be like. Like, I had my first one at 37 and it was the biggest year of my career. And obviously it was twins, but my whole career just kind of stopped. And, you know, I just stop and think for everything I ever experienced, every argument that went on in my house, you know, if there was a drunken night where there was heaps of people partying in my house and something happened, like everything that ever happened, thank you so much. You know, my parents did so many beautiful things. They did so many crazy things. They were still kids. You know, just take in your heart and go, everything I've gone through has given me who I am today, and your pain becomes your purpose. That's a really powerful point that I say to people. Whatever pain you've gone through, you understand that pain helps you help somebody else. My biggest realization in life is realizing life wasn't about me. I thought it was I always thought, you know, I want to do this for everyone else, do this for everyone else, this for everyone else. Then I had kids and it was like, no, I have to do it for everyone else. Like, oh my gosh, like, I've got to keep these little people alive. They're just like, I'm so in love with them. They're amazing. I remember having no sleep and the doctor, like I was crying and I was lucky to get 2 hours sleep a night. It's 4 kids. I was breastfeeding. I don't know who. I feel like I breastfed for like half a decade. It was crazy. But I remember going to the doctor and he said, you've got postnatal depression. And I said, how can I have postnatal depression? I love my children so much. I don't want to be away from them. I love them so much. How can I? Oh, it's a new strain. And he put me straight on medication, right? Okay. Straight on medication. It was about 4 months later, I went back to my original doctor that was in the same, and he said to me, Sharon, you're not depressed. You're just fat, right? And he was just straight in my heart. He said, you've gone from being a high, a high level athlete, the best in the world with the most amazing body, the most amazing work ethic, to now you've got 4 kids and you love them and you just you haven't got time to look after yourself. That is what your problem is. And it was like,
I think, no, I was going to say when you talk about, obviously the result of the doctor saying what he said is what it is. But you know, the nuance of that is that it was around decisions, right?
Yeah. 100%, you know, and that was a really powerful thing to know that I don't need medication. Some people feel they do. Look, everybody's for themselves, but when you can understand and see who you are for who you truly are, I always say when you understand you be who you truly be, your life is incredible. But most of us don't know who we are because we're covered in that subconscious thought of who we're supposed to be for everybody else. So we miss that.
No, spot on. And that authenticity is a topic that comes up on almost every single interview and Q&A that we've done, and every presentation that is within the Happiness Aid platform. It speaks to being authentic, being yourself, and making sure that you do that in in the right way. So that's yeah. So you've surmised it so well, and you've made parenting sound fun, difficult, and easy all in the same breath. So I'm sure that there's people that will love to reach out to you as well after this and get some more advice on things, and maybe and this is the best bit about what Happiness Co do. It doesn't necessarily have to be for everyone. It may be for one person, and you spoke about the one heart approach as well. You know, making sure that you do this for the people that are out there that may be inspired or motivated by your story. So just quickly pivoting, I guess, from pre-boxing to boxing to parenting.
Can I share one more thing on parenting?
You absolutely can, yeah.
So I just want everyone to understand, like, it's cold now in most places. You know, kids don't understand hot and cold. They don't care, especially if you have a pool. I just want to share, I've got really good at Wim Hof methods. Like, I really had to understand, you just got to put your phone down. It's not all business. Like, I know we work for our kids and we want to you've got to put everything down and just stop and be present and be playful. And not only be present with your kids, but be present for yourself. So if your kids want to go for a swim at 9 o'clock at night and it's freezing cold, that cost me a bit of money, because they said, can you give me, if we do 2.5 minutes, can we have $5? And I was like, sure. So all 4 got in on my phone. There's 20. And so they're cuddling each other.
You underestimated them, Sharon.
But then they stayed in there for 15 minutes.
Oh, jeez. Maybe hypothermic.
But it's just be present and be playful and have some fun and do what they want for a while, because they're here to really teach us. We think we're here to teach our stuff to them. We're not. They're here to change the world, and we need to start understanding things through our kids' eyes versus the way the adults have ran the world for so long.
I love that. Seeing it through a different lens is always so important, right? And just taking it in with that context. So yeah, let's go a little bit more recently, and you were saying off air, I guess we could call it, that you're working in a really unique space around subconscious biohacking, I think is the way you put it. I love that concept. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people on this platform that would love to hear even more about that. But can you give us a quick summation of what you do now and how you go about taking your life experiences and putting that into your practice?
Yeah, so I'll share two really amazing things. So one thing that I do is when I see someone, I don't see you, Robbie, for anything you've ever experienced in your life. I see you as an incredible human being, right? Someone's got an amazing soul and you're going to have incredible gifts, right? And I can already feel the energy from that. So I go to work on that. Whereas people want to tell me all the things that have gone wrong in their life, and that's okay. I just help them understand why they're so powerful and how to turn them into your purpose or your passion. So when I talk about the subconscious biohacking, I start showing you how to implement the things you want in your life into your subconscious, using every sense that you have. You know, power of awareness, the whole visualization, what it smells like, to, you know, if you're in a brand new car, if someone's cooking your dinner for you, like whatever it may be. But I really show people how to bring every sense, their feel, their touch, their taste, their smell, everything into play. So the universe it doesn't understand that it's not here. It just understands that you're experiencing it. So it's got to show up. So you start to shift the trajectory of what's going on, and then new opportunities show up. Doesn't mean it just flows in. You get it for doing nothing, but well, like I said, when a door opens or starts to open, you've either got to tear it open, kick it down, or whatever. But I always show people how to go into their heart space and, you know, go back into being your childhood. I take people on a journey where they go back in and they just connect back in with their inner child and just go into that space of really appreciating each other for what you've already been through and what you've done and what you've created and where you're at. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Between that, and I'm a global brand ambassador for an incredible company. And just seeing so many in the wellness industry, and so seeing so many more celebrities and doctors, you know, and so many of them being men that are stepping up into that space of wanting to be brand ambassadors for wellness. You know, Happiness Co. Look at it, started by a man. Do you know what I mean? Like started by, how do we make people feel good? How do I make myself feel good? And how do I pass that to someone else? So it's I think we're seeing such a beautiful trajectory, like a beautiful shift of men stepping into that space of, I don't have to be you know, the one that's just dogging it, like going hard every day from 6 till 3 p.m. and, you know, having to drink beer at the end of it. There's so much more to life. And one of the big things I focus on at the moment is all the men that are not just in sports, but in the fire brigades, the police, all of that, men that are just, you guys have carried so much for so long. And then everything kind of changed in the world, and all of a sudden now you've got to be a great dad and a great husband and a great everything else, and you've got to make sure the flowers arrive, and you still got to go to work, and you got to make sure the bills are paid, blah, blah, blah. And I just think, oh my gosh, like, take some pressure off. And girls, we need to really appreciate all the men in our lives, whether they're brothers, whether they're friends, whether they're uncles, whether they're fathers, your partner. For anyone that's in a relationship, if you are in a spot stuck in your home over the last 6 to 7 weeks where you're really starting to get comfortable, I just want to say one thing. Shift your expectation for appreciation and go back to why you fell in love with them, and start looking back at those things, because we cloud them over too quickly. So go back and see, why did I fall in love with you, and go back and fall in love with that. And you be the person they fell in love with, right? We all want something amazing. I always say to someone, to have something, you need to become that person before you can have it. So if you want a beautiful, switched on, loving, affectionate, attentive, caring partner, become that in yourself.
Brilliant. And it can be mirrored that way, right? It's a lot easier to pick up, and no one's a mind reader. I wish we had that innately within us, but we don't. So you've got to put out what you would like to receive. I think that's fantastic advice. And I always love to finish these Q&As with a bit of an activity. Sometimes it's word association. Sometimes it's delving a bit deeper into a certain curly question. But for yourself, all I'm going to ask is your favorite quote. So I'll let you have a little think, but being someone that's traveled through this life as one of, I think you said 4 in your household when you were growing up, is that right?
Yes.
Into a karate practitioner, into a kickboxing, Muay Thai, into boxing, into being a WBC world champion in the featherweight division, the first woman to do so in that WBC organization. Robbie,
I was actually the first Australian woman to ever win a world title in boxing.
That is incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is incredible. And why it's incredible is because of not the fact that you won, that happened within the division and you did an incredible job of that. But I think more importantly, it's the ambition that you must have shown to break through that glass ceiling for that to happen. That's really, really impressive. And everyone, not just women, everyone should be proud of the work that you did for that to happen.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I think my favorite quote is probably, I've got so many of them, but the one that I use all the time, and I'm even going live again this weekend to do a meditation on social media, so please go and check it out, because it's all about raising our vibration. But it's love is the bridge. Love is the bridge between us and everything we want. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's an argument and you want it to stop, just show love. Whatever's going on in the world right now, whether you have a belief or no belief, or anti or pro, whatever, it doesn't matter. Show love to each other. Show love. Everyone's allowed to have different choices, different opinions, different wants, different everything. It's perfect. We're all perfect exactly as we are, and we were never meant to be the same. But love is always the bridge. If you want to have a new job, new business, new anything, come from a space of love. Put your hand on your heart, find out why, and just go and chase it with everything you have.
That's brilliant. What a quote to finish on, and what a concept to wrap things up with. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, or more importantly, how can people get in touch with you on the socials?
So I would love to give a shout out to, I would really, really, really love to give a shout out to my mum and dad. They've just been.
Hi, mum and dad.
Yeah, Les and Beryl, grandma and grandpa, whatever.
Les and Beryl, of course it is.
Yeah, and I want to give a really big shout out to Anthony, who has been my in-home educator for probably about 8 years, and now he's kind of just still here with us, and he's incredible. Without his support with my family, as probably I would say he's my best friend. Without his support with my family, I wouldn't be able to do half the things that I do. So I just want to, if you've got people in your life that are standing there that say, lean on me, then please go and lean on them, but make sure that you honor and give back to them at the same time. And follow me, Sharon Anyos. The U is all about numerology. It's like shifting what energy is coming that's connected to your name and your birthday. And I love learning new things. I love working with energy and vibration. So just come and find me on social media. I'm just here to impact more people. Whatever I can do with Happiness Code and help with you guys, just please let me know. Yous are beautiful. The work that yous have done, and Do you know, I've known Michelle Powell for so many years, like, and just gone through a big life journey with her right from high school, you know, and she might share the story one day, but to see who she has stepped into, which is who I always believed she could be, and the impact that she's having, but the love that gives back to her, oh my gosh, makes me want to cry. Like, you have just created the most beautiful family. Thank you for doing that for the rest of the universe.
Thank you. And it's always a pleasure to welcome new people into that family. And Michelle, I can't even, I'm not even going to try and put into words what she means to our organization and to myself in particular. She makes it tick, put it that way. And she's just always got the best intentions at heart. And the more people that we can bring into the fold that have that exact outlook on life, the better. And we've done that with you today, Sharon. You've been incredible. What you've done is amazing, and everything you shared today, I'm sure will be powerful. And even if it's for one person, I'm sure it'll be for many more, but even if it's that one heart at a time. So thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully we can have you back on the platform doing some of your work that you would normally do live to video as well.
Yeah, definitely, Robbie. Thank you. And I just want to say a big thank you for putting me in front of people from your platform, just to shine some love and some light in another space. It's just beautiful. I really appreciate it.
Always. And I think the greatest thing about Happiness Co and Happiness Aid is the ability to do that to so many people. So shout out to everyone watching, and a shout out to you, Sharon, for giving them some awesome value. I mean, that's the best way we can put it. So thanks so much.
To everybody out there, to you, Robbie, to Michelle, thank you so much. I'm a bit teary because that was all so beautiful.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.